and welcome into this video. And yesterday I just won a chess competition for people under 16. And in this video I want to show you how I did it. So this was the game from the first round. I played as white and here my opponent has just castled, defending this bishop. But now I sacrificed this bishop on g5. In the game my opponent tried knight takes e4. But let's just see what happens if black just takes on g5. Then I go h6. This bishop has to go to h8, otherwise I will just take, and then rook h8 is checkmate. So bishop h8 and now h7 is almost a checkmate, but black can take. But here comes queen h5, and there's no way to defend against queen h7 or queen h8 checkmate. Even if black takes, there's no way to defend against checkmate. So in the game, my opponent tried knight takes e4 with the point that knight takes e4 is met with this double attack. But I just took the pawn on h6, and later on I won the game easily. So here I played as black, and my opponent tried to move knight d2, trying to pick up this pawn on c4. But he overlooked that after knight takes e3, f takes e3, bishop g5, there is only one way to protect against the e3 pawn, and it's king f2, and that's not a move you want to make. For example, if white takes, then the rook is lost. So he played king f2, now played bishop h6, a very nice move, threatening queen h4 check. Let's just say white makes a random move, then queen h4 check comes, king g1, if g3 then queen takes h2, and now can take this pawn, and then maybe can even take that one or come back to f4. So in the game he played knight f3 to cover against queen h4, but after f6 white's position is just collapsing, because after some threatening to take here and then to give this check, because then the knight is pinned, and after this trade, e5 is coming, and I won the game later on. So here this was from a third round, I played as white, and I have just sacrificed the pawn with h5 to open up the h5 from a rook, and that's quite a common motive, and usually you follow it up with bishop h6, exchanging this defender of the king, and then maybe getting a queen to h6, playing g4, But in this case, it doesn't really work out because of the move knight to f4. If I take the knight, I don't really want to do that, because now pawns are equal and this bishop is just a monster and I have no attack whatsoever. Even if I get queen h2, black can just play h5 or h6. So I probably should take on g7, and surprisingly black is okay here, maybe even slightly better, because then black has to move h5, for example, just to cover against queen h6 and queen h7. Later on I won the game. My opponent didn't play knight f4, he played f5, after which black's position is lost. He made a blunder with king takes g7, and now he can't even recapture with the bishop or with the rook or with the pawn. So if bishop or rook takes, then g4 wins a piece, and here also win a piece. So because even if black plays knight g3, I have queen h6 check. Later on I won the game. So this was my game from a fourth round. Here my opponent played the move knight to b1, a very nice maneuver, trying to get this knight to d2, and then maybe b4, knight b3, knight a5. And a few moves later I got into a really bad position. I had to play rook a8 because the threat was knight takes b7 followed by bishop takes a6, and I'm just completely losing. So I protected this pawn. Now I play queen e3, covering against queen b6, so the idea is rook c1 does queen b6, so he wanted to avoid that. So attacked his queen, and now the thing is the queen has to leave this diagonal. And then for example, let's say goes to e2 or f3, can just go back, and rook c1 is again met with queen b6. But he blitzed out the move rook c1, thinking he is just, I have to move my queen somewhere to d7 or e7, because the thing is I can't take his queen, because then I'm just losing really much material. And also, let's say some queen takes c1 with the hope of rook takes c1, knight takes e3 is not possible because of queen takes c1, and I'm just down a queen. But what he missed is that I can play queen takes a5, and now this is kind of forced, because otherwise, let's say queen moves, I can just take on a3 and take this bishop. So he has to take, and now we reach this endgame, which ended in a draw. So this was my game from a fourth round. I played as white, and I'm already up a pawn with a winning position. But here my opponent also took this pawn on c2, which was poisoned because of the move queen a4 check with a double attack, and I won the game easily. So I won the game with 4.5 points out of 5. Which was nice for me, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.